got better things to do tonight than die.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the X-transbot, the 86 MX-10 aerial defense Virtus. This is X-transbot's take on a very sort of G1 accurate Springer. It does look great, and it does transform into all three modes, and there's good and bad to it, but mostly good. But stay tuned to tell you if this one's going to replace my fans toys or not. I'm going to tell you that, but I did get this from Show Z, and you can get yours too. I have a link down below. I did wait 3 years for this thing to come in. I actually pre-ordered this thing 3 years ago. And now that it's here, I'm excited about it. It's pretty awesome. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible, but there's a lot to talk about. We'll get into this. Coming up. All right, so here's the packaging. Typical X-transbots packaging. Got the writing on the top. You got some artwork on the side. Pretty nice overall. Do kind of like that right there, the tech spec kind of thing going on right there. And there is what is to come. Pretty exciting right there. But yeah, pretty much what you expect from an X-transbots packaging. Here's how it's packed in. There is a plastic that kind of goes over that. I took it off, but you get all these heads and stuff. Pretty cool. Pretty good stuff in there. Also on the bottom, they have some stuff packed in there. So that's kind of how all that goes. So here it is right out of the box. Just a couple things. You want to kind of move those pieces, flip these around right here, and we've got it in the car mode more or less. So now it's in the car mode, and it's a pretty good looking car mode overall. So they've done a pretty good job with a car mode, and well, my table doesn't roll so well, but it doesn't roll well on my surface, but it does have rubber tires on it, and I gotta make sure everything is just lined up right, so maybe the rolling is my fault, but yeah, it looks really good. This is probably the best car mode on a Springer, third-party Springer out there, so looks like a great car mode overall. So I do want to point out a few things. First off, it's really heavy. It's really heavy. It has a lot of paint, like pretty much every surface is painted for the most part, so you got to be careful not to scratch all of that up. It does have an opening cockpit area here, and I think they got the size right. It'll work good for both modes. You do have a few features with this. You have this pop-up. These pop-up does light up. You do have to slide this off and put batteries in, but I'm having trouble actually having all the different sizes batteries, so I'm not going to mess with that so much. And then the on and off button for the light is right here. So it's a nice touch if you're going to go that far, but I'm not going to bother with it because I'm probably not going to put it back into the car mode again, but it looks really good though. So overall, nice in car mode. Let's see what it looks like here in a bit compared to a bunch of other stuff, but if you do want to display this in car mode, I think it's going to fit in for a nice 1986 movie display. All right, so a quick comparison real quick. We have Fans Toys Blur. This is a KO oversized. I think Wei Zhang did it for an RC. This is the Takara version of Hot Rod. This is the X-transbots 2.0 that was a freebie from X-transbots because they had some mistakes and issues with their 1.0. And then, of course, the X-transbots Virtus. Looks really good as a team. Could probably argue it's a bit big, but then again, Blur is really, really long, and he's not really that big of a figure, so kind of thinking about it, it does fit in really well. All right, so let's move this to a first transformation helicopter mode, and so what we're going to need to do, fold those in. We're going to do the back end first. Now, we are untabbing a tab here and a tab here at the exact same time, like so, and then we're going to do that on both sides just to kind of loosen it up and get this whole thing working. And then from there, we can fold this out, and then this goes around too. And then we're going to need to rotate it to here and then fold it on out. And then what we're going to do is pull it around this way so you can see, separate these two pieces here. And we're going to rotate this leg around. So let's use this ab crunch right here to bring it down and keep one leg sort of up, and then we can move it out, fold it around. Now we're going to rotate right there on the hip joint, and it's going to go around like so, and then we're going to fold this back in and do the same thing on the other side. So here we go with sort of one side sort of done. Let's get over here to this side, untab this, fold it around on this piece, line all this up, and then fold this out and kind of so maybe I should go better this way. Now this is on a slider too. Let's see how this slides inward. I believe you can see you can just collapse it like this and that will slide in that hip joint. That's the best way I've seen to slide that in. So anyway, we can close these pieces down and those kind of came out. So let's put the ab crunch back in. That's a tight ab crunch too. Back in place. I'm gonna go at it from this angle real quick. It's a little bit easier, it seems like. Now we're gonna have these pieces here that are going to tab it in. So let's get out these connector pieces. I'm gonna use this thing here. I have a little trouble getting these connector pieces out. There's one, and here's the other. And then we're going to connect these legs like so. There's a tab here, a tab here. These pieces will come together. Well, it's all coming in a tab. These pieces come together right here. And that's not the easiest of connections. I guess we should have done this before I tab the rest of it together. Seems like the legs are the hardest part. You can go in there. You can do it. Yeah, you did it. All right, realigning everything that seems to be falling apart as we're going along. So tab, getting back into tab, 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 tab-tastic, all the way down through here. And the abs are kind of going. And then we can tab these. If we can keep it on camera. It's a pretty good size vehicle mode, so keeping it on camera is a little bit challenging. And it will tab in up here also. So let me clean that up a bit. In addition to the tabs on the top, we have these tabs on the bottom that we have to tab in there. That's kind of all at the same time. Hard to do on camera. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, these will do at the end so we don't kind of get them in the way there. Now, moving to the front of all of this, we do have a sliding mechanism kind of thing. Let's do this side first. So this is tabbed into the top there. So we're going to pull this back a bit as we slide that up. Now, we're going to fold this out, fold this around. This wheel is normally like that. It just folds around like so. There's a tab and a slot to hold that into place. This comes back down, and then this stays up, and then this whole thing slides down into place. And then this, it seems like they've got like a little sliding mechanism there for that to get out of the way, so it's all nice and clean. Same thing on the other side. Oh wait, I didn't pull this out yet. This needs to come out, and be careful not to break off that little tip piece that's right there as you're folding this out. And then this tip piece can come out, and I'm going to use this again. I don't know why I have one of these here, but that's going to be as close to a spudger as I'm going to use today. All right, so there's that side. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. Untab this, go around here, fold that up, fold this down, fold this out and around. That one's a little tighter for some reason. Tab it in, fold it out. Be careful not to break this tip off. And then I'm going to slide this tip out. Come on, Virtus. Push this in, slide it out. There it goes. And then we can slide this whole mechanism here after we push all this down. Go back into its place. Push this part here up. Well, like that. And then slide this down. Slide. And There we go. Pretty close. We got a few more things to do. So I'm not really sure why, but this popped out there. And we got a few more things going on here. Landing gear, if you want them, it's strange because you have to fold it out and around, which is strange that they went that route. And it's like, doesn't even look like a landing gear. And then same thing over here, well, like so. And then it's going to fold around. I guess it's not a slider, it's a folding situation. But tab to grip it. So that was way harder than it should be. So I'm going to fold it out, fold it around, and then there we go. And that one kind of came out of spot. There is a little slot that they tab into. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get the blades on it and stuff like that. So now here he is transformed into the helicopter mode on the flight stand with the propeller on. And I did forget to do this. Well, actually I was holding off and I just never did it. So you have to put that piece out on both sides, which we're about to do. And there it goes. And that's a nice looking mode right there. Probably the strongest mode of all the modes. And it does look great. I mean, I really like this helicopter mode. I think that it works. For some reason, I can't seem to get this to go deeper into it. So I'm not sure if I did something wrong with it, but the other way, it doesn't even go as deep. So I think that is the correct way to set that in there. But still, overall, it looks pretty good. And with that is painted almost entirely. I do see a side of this wheel, so I don't know if there was a way to cover that up or something, but really that's the biggest problem with this visible wheel there. Everything else looks really good. Pretty solid overall once you've tabbed everything in, top and bottom and all that kind of stuff. I don't see that these really tab in, but I don't see that the lack of tabs for these pieces make a big difference at all. So still really good looking. Let's adjust the camera a little bit, and we can look at a few other things on this. Comes with these blast effects, so you could plug those blast effects in right here if you would like. And everything on this is just a concern. Am I going to scrape paint? Am I going to mess something up paint-wise and all that kind of stuff? But you got thrust right there, blast effect, thrust effect. Pretty cool. Now I do want to show how this connects right here to that. And yeah, the propeller fell off, but there's this right there. Now, I was concerned at first, but this is plastic, so shouldn't be any rubbing going on because they made that plastic piece there. So that's smart of them to make that piece plastic and all that. So I want to commend them on that. Let's put this back on here. Now, we do have another propeller, which is not an easy feat to put on here. It's not like it's just simple, put the propeller on, but we have to build the propeller. So here's the propeller. And then we have to add these parts to it to build it. Let's see how that goes. So each one of them slides into this and then slides down into position. You have to do that all the way around and interconnect them as you go. I'll be back. Okay, so as you can see, I put mine together, but I did not insert, or I did not line up all those tabs, because I think once you put it all together, it's going to be a no disassemble, like Johnny Five would say, no disassemble. So no disassemble this once it's done, and so still just kind of showing you what it's going to look like, or kind of how it would work. It's a little more wobbly because I didn't interconnect the pieces, which you do need to if you want to use this like regularly. It's a cool effect. I do kind of like how it looks, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to have it in. This is going to be my bot mode for sure. Well, wait, okay. I'm not sure just yet, but we'll talk about that. Okay, so I did forget to do the G1 car mode comparison because I've got a lot of stuff going on with this guy. But anyway, this is the car mode influence, and then you just do this and put the propeller, which I don't have, which I was kind of debating whether I even show the difference in there because I don't have the propeller. But that's the G1 from the original G1 days. And here he is with some Masterpiece stuff. Same stuff we had before, just kind of a nice comparison. This is where probably a flight stand would look a whole lot better in a display because helicopter flying, cars driving, those kinds of things. Does still look really good. Great looking team if you're working on a 1986 movie, alt mode. So let's get this guy transformed up and we can just start with the propeller back to there. Pop these pieces off. Flip these pieces here around. We're going to need that later when we construct the backpack. And I kind of want to start with the legs. So let's move this around here. And we're going to disconnect these pieces and free it up with a little ab there. Let's close this down, and then slide it around. It's a nice metal there. Start with untabbing the back all of the way like so. And then we're kind of like de-transforming it in a way. We need to disconnect this here. And then, as you can see, it almost just wants to roll like that. And then when you do that, it's going to... let's slide this over a bit. Probably would be easier if we did the backpack first. But I'll fold this around like so. And then we're going to fold this down. And let's get it all on camera here. The foot's going to fold down. And then it's a little awkward. And there's a lot of heavy stuff in there. And then the foot's going to slide out like so. Then this collapses up, but we have to flip it around. So we have to flip it back around like we had it, and then collapse it upward, and then fold it over. So a lot's going on at the same time. Fold this piece here in. And so holding it from this angle, you're going to fold this piece in so it clears that. And then when you fold the whole mechanism over, this piece kind of just plops over like so. So that's how all this is going to work. Then you have stuff flopping around. Keep that straight. You have these tabs right here that are going to tab in and line all that up. And then you're going to have tabs in the front that are going to tab in right here. And it's kind of tricky to do on the camera there, but line it all up, tab it in. And you more or less have a leg done. Now, as for this, you can either have a heel spur, and I've kind of seen pictures of either way, having a heel spur. Let's go ahead and, I probably should have done this earlier. Flip this down. Now, I guess you could leave that in as a heel spur also, if you wanted to. I don't know if that's going to be helpful at all, but you'll just remember that down the road. Anyway, there's one leg. Let's see if we can make the other one look a little prettier. I think I manhandled that in on its own. Okay, so let's see about moving this piece here. Disconnect that, which is kind of crazy. Then it folds. This folds out like so that you can fold all of this down and around. And then this is folding down. And then we are going to fold this piece in, fold the foot down and slide it out. Go ahead and do the heel piece. That's something, I'll just do it last. That slides out a bit. Now we're going to fold this around, and then we're going to tab things in. A little smoother the second time here on the second side. And there we go. And why is that not tabbing in just right? There it is. And then you slide that. Now, they seem to have a lot of problems with their hip sliders. I don't know why. I seem to have problems with them. But there it goes. There was a big issue with their first one. Now we have this standing on its own, which is nice. And we can clean up and mess around and show some options on that here in a bit. So now we can move up to the top. Now we have issues with this this top here. Now, as I said before, I never really have anything tabbing it in. It's held in by the sliders. But the big backpack part is held in by two tabs. One right there, one right there. You have to just trust the materials are going to hold up. And I know that's something that's a little scary when it comes to X-transbots. Will these materials hold up? That's always a question mark. Now, we're going to sort of just retransform this back, fold this over, and then we slide this in, which Strange that it slides. Seems like it would be a folding mechanism. Fold that around. This goes up, this into here, and then we're going to slide this whole thing up here. And there's this piece in here that we got out of the way one time. We got to get it back out of the way. This here's got to get back out of the way so we can slide this up. I'm going to use my fingernail and just pop it out. So now it will slide up and go into the cavity. And then this is going to fold out. Now for the other side, same exact thing we did before. Fold this in, slide in this slider, really pointy piece there. Fold this down, and then it's going to go around back in there. We're going to close all of this off. We're going to have to pull that piece out that we had here before, right here. And it's just hard to do. There it is. That's out of the way. And then slide this thing all the way up. All the way up. And then close this off. Fun part about this is we're going to fold this down. And then now both of these can go into the backpack. And your backpack is more or less done at this point. There's a tab that's going to go in here into the backpack. And then make sure you have these tabs that we folded out earlier folded out straight. So these are going to be tabbing the backpack in. And there we are with this. So this is sort of out of the way for now. Get out of the way. Now we're going to work on the rest of the upper body here. So lifting this up, we can push in the landing gear. I guess I should have done that earlier. Get that put away, and then we've got to work on these arms and get these arms out of here. So you lift up on them and slide them out. Just trying to not mess up any paint. And this is on a slider too to kind of get around that. But let's just get the arm out for now. So pushing from the back and lifting up at the same time is probably the easiest way to get that out of there. Then we're going to work on the chest. And let's see, where's the head at? Let's get the head out and push it around. So I just wanted to double check, make sure everything I'm doing here is still on camera, and so it is. All right, flipping the head around. We need to get this piece here out. Probably just use my nails and stuff. Everyone says I should get spudgers, but if you just take this piece down and then pull it out, it will come out. So you can have that up there and working for you. Then we're gonna get the neck piece in place right here as we fold this abdomen down and get all that into place just right. There is kind of some movement here. You can have to adjust this to make it all work right and line up just right. Now the sad part is it doesn't look like anything here for the waist piece tabs in, so that's going to be a bit of a challenge there. So let's get this on the top, I guess you could say. And here it is. We're not done yet. Let's get this backpack in place. So we're going to fold this around and then tab it in here and here. So the backpack's in. Now all we gotta do is get the arms situated. So fold this around, down, and then you can see it does tab in. There's some light there. Tabs in, and that's great. Then situate it to just look right. Same thing on the other side. Let's get this down around this, situate it And yes, pull that down. Where does it look right? There it is. Get the hands looking right. So we're pretty much almost done, and I got to figure out how to get these. I know these tab in, but it doesn't look like it tabs in properly. So I'm going to look at that for a bit, and then we'll get back to having a look at this guy. This is something I just wanted to understand why it gives resistance. So there's a small tab on this piece that's on this slider. So you have to go in and then down and then tab it in, which is strange. But once it's tabbed in, then of course it feels right. But it's also, in a way, I guess, a butterfly. But yeah, there you go. Okay, so here we go. We have him in his robot mode. And I gotta say, he does look really good. This is a very nice looking interpretation of Springer. And they do implement some stuff like faux shoulders to make it look more toon accurate and to make this guy look like the cartoon. But I also have to admit, there are a couple of issues in the bot mode. First off, holding the accessories, they don't tab in very well. And the sword doesn't tab in at all. I mean, you could obviously display it however you want, and it's going to be held in just with the fingers and stuff. But past that, it's just they're going to fall out when you move it a little bit. The gun will hold in a little bit better than the sword. Now the sword, I think, well, the piece is just too thick to fit in there. If you wanted to shave that down just a little bit, you can. But of course, that would affect the helicopter mode. Also, just the distance between the tab and the pieces right here, it's just too small of a distance. It needed a bigger distance, so it just doesn't fit right. That is a sad part of this. The guns are so lightweight, though. I mean, he can sort of hold on to them pretty much no matter what. Now, the other issue in bot mode is there's no tab in for the waist piece, and I've heard people talk about this. I've seen comments and stuff. But once he's in place, I mean, it's not like he's flopping around. Not like that whole midsection's flopping around. I would have liked a tab, but then again, this whole thing is painted, so I'm kind of seeing why they didn't. I was wondering if maybe it's one of those things where this plastic stretches over it or something. But still, the whole thing is painted. I understand that. I mean, I guess, but yeah, a tab would have just felt more correct. Other than that, he looks fantastic, and I do like that some of the parts in here, this is plastic. Worse, I think this here might be die-cast, but this was plastic, so it doesn't get scratched up, and it is unpainted, and it still sort of matches. The greens sort of match, and I do like that about this, that the green plastic matches the green paint, and maybe it is painted plastic, but still looks really good. But one more negative, since I am doing the negatives here, one more negative is I would have liked this a brighter yellow. I think this yellow is just a little bit too subdued for the character and for how it should look. So with that, you can see that gun flopping around. So one of the features I forgot to talk about was this wrist gun he has, which I think is really cool. It just kind of folds out, and you just fold it out, just like in the show, like in the movie. That is awesome. It's cool, just like little touch like that. It's just something that just makes a masterpiece, sort of a masterpiece. I love things like that. That's awesome. Probably a great way to display it. What if there was a blast effect for that, you know? The positives on it, though, just let's start looking at this from the head. The head sculpt looks amazing. His head looks fantastic. So MX-transbots sort of really did nail that. The articulation is pretty good with this guy overall. And, you know, maybe I've got a better copy than some, because some people have been complaining about some stuff. I like it, you know, I think it looks great, and I think the articulation is fine. One of the things that some of the other companies like Fans Toys and Takara are doing are hiding the flaps. I think X-transbots has done that in a couple of theirs too, but I understand, of course, Triple Changer, you're not going to be getting all of that kind of stuff with it. Down below, I do like the colors of the thighs, and the legs clean up really nice, just really nice. We're going to see that when we compare it to the Fans Toys, how much nicer these lower legs clean up. So I do like that, and it's kind of interesting, the technology or the engineering they use to do that. The backpack's a bit big, but still not that bad. Actually, in hand, the backpack's just not as big as I was seeing in the pictures. I was thinking it was just going to be terrible, but I mean, you have to turn it around and like take a good look at it to even notice it. From any angle, it doesn't really look bad from any front side angle, so not bad at all. Let's get into articulation. His head can go side to side, up and down, all that good stuff. It's a little bit extreme on the up and down, but there it goes. Shoulders out to here. Not that high of a range. And then of course you've got your 360, and it's all tension right there. And then you do have the bicep swivel, and since the transformation, it does kind of go in, make sure it's all the way out. You do have some exposed screws right there. Double jointed on the elbow, everything you'd want on that elbow, so you can get all these dynamic poses and stuff. Hands, very solid hands that are done not KFC style, new X-transbots style, I guess. You got everything you want with a ratcheted, super ratcheted ab crunch right there, waist swivel, and then you do have these flaps to get them all out of the way, to go forward on a ratchet, back on a ratchet, out on a ratchet. So, man, tight, almost scary tight on that. And it's a plastic ratchet, which, I mean, I don't know, I guess most of them are plastic anyway. The knee goes just to there. That's all you're going to get out of that knee. And then the foot, you can do a few things. Now with the feet, see, up and down, it's, I mean, part of the transformation kind of wiggles around in there. With the feet, there are two things that I'm noticing you could use. You can leave the landing gear out as stability and a spur, and you can leave this out as a heel spur. So people complaining about stability, I mean, I don't know if I can get a one-legged stand, but he's not unstable. I mean, he's got stability if you leave his landing gear, all that out, if you want to. Those are options. Then again, all the weight on this guy could possibly break that landing gear, so that's all kind of up to you, what you want to do with him, but great articulation. Now for accessories, we've got the, I've got better things to do tonight than die bomb. We have his only human mini-me statue going on right here. That works, it gets the job done. It doesn't do anything. I don't know, does this arm even move? Nothing moves, but yeah, there he is. We have this thing here, which will hold the accessories, sort of. Where's the other gun? You can plug a gun in like this or so, or however you want to do it. Let's see here. Maybe like that. They plug in. I think you can fit more accessories and stuff in there, maybe even the faces in there somehow, I don't know. But it's still, I saw somebody do it, like loaded this thing up, and I guess that's kind of a cool addition. Looking at both of these guns, they are painted relatively well, and they look really nice. They're both completely different, so that's awesome. Let's get him in his hands. And that's how it looks in his hands, and that's how it looks with blast effects in there, so they both hold blast effects. Works pretty good, looks pretty good. Comes with 5 additional faces, and so we got like a real serious face here. We've got a smiling face here, an angry face there, upside down. Another stoic looking face like the one he's got on right now, and then another like angry stoic face. I'm kind of happy with the one he's got. Maybe I'll put more of an angry face because I kind of would fit the character better. He also comes with an IDW head that you can swap out, but I have no interest in doing it. I kind of like the head that's on there, and I think they nailed kind of both of them. All right, now for the most important part of the comparison. This is starting out with a comparison to the G1, and kind of can see where we came from and where we have come, and well, hopefully we're not going to any more Springers. Okay, so compared to the fans toys over here and Open and Play, which Open and Play gets a bad rap. It's not a bad figure at all. It looks really nice. But looking at all these side by side, which one looks the best to you? There are things, I could say pluses and minuses for each one of these, including the Open and Play. And but I do say I like the way the chest works like this on the fans toys a little bit better than that. And then how it narrows to the waist. I think that's what I like the most. Everything else I like about the X-transbots version. So let's get a sideways view. Here they are from the side. Let's get it all looking good. So I think it cleans up really well from the side. I mean, yes, he has some backpack syndrome, but like the lower legs, that's nice and clean, it's a little stocky. But this guy cleans up really well too. The shoulders, the faux shoulders, really stand out as clean. So gotta show that. And for the back, which I don't really care. I guess some of my tabs kind of came out on him. So, but there's a lot more kind of kibble stuff going on the legs and stuff right there. But yeah, kind of judge for yourself on the back there. All right, and here's how it sort of scales with some of the other bots kind of in this era. So this is the MPO9 version of Rodimus. This is Toy World's Leia, which I think she scales Masterpiece better than any of them because of her height. That looks good. And then X-transbots version 1 of their cup. Yeah, looks pretty good. Nice little team, cohesive. Size is right. So this is my look at the Virtus, or the X-transbots version of Springer. And what do I think of this guy? Well, I like him. Is he everything I expected? Is he the best? Well, he does a lot of things well, and he will be my replacement. I'm going to replace my fans' toys with this one. But he is not perfect, and the problem with that is that some of the looseness in it here and there with the transformation, some of the stuff doesn't feel like it locks 100% in place. But it does pretty much everything I need. It doesn't really hold the weapons accessories as well as I'd like, but as you can see right here, is holding the gun. I mean, you just got to do a little bit of extra work with it. I do feel like the fans' toys overall in bot mode is more solid, but this thing holds pretty solid in all the other modes. And overall, the paint looks amazing, the aesthetic, giving it the toon look, or matching the animation. That's what X-transbots does really well. They match the animation more than trying to do their own thing. They want to be tuned, sometimes to a detriment, but it does look fantastic. It looks great. I like this figure, and the fact that if you get it in a pose, it's going to hold it for pretty much forever. I don't have any breakage issues on mine, but something popped off during transformation. I don't know what, so I haven't figured that out yet. But overall, I like it. I would recommend it if this is one that you're looking for the price. I think Shozy has it. I'll have a link down below where you can get yours. Like and subscribe. Tydirium Hanger out.